Welcome back, everyone. This is Nate from Nate's Here and There, coming to you from Oak Hill Baptist Church here in Tradesville, South Carolina. So I thought I would walk around and see what kind of old graves I can find, military, things like that. So grab a chair, sit back, and enjoy. And another thing, before I get started on the cemetery, I've added my Cash App and my PayPal in the link, and it'll be in this link of this video and the link of the channel. If you feel led to donate, please do. If you feel led. So let's get started. Starting off with a pretty good old one. I mean, it's decent. Wilma Threet, 1920 to 1938. And don't take no offense what I said. I love the older ones, like this right here. Earl Wright, son of William Nancy Wright, 1896 to 1932. And William Wright, this is the father, 1854 to 1933. This is Nancy Wright, 1854 to 1939. That's that one over there, William. This is his wife, Nancy. And this is Connie Wright, 1885 to 1937. And I love the flowers right there. I love the flowers up here on the tombstone, headstone. And this is Augustus Wright. He was in military. He was in the military. He was World War One, PFC, Infantry 118. 1894 to 1961. Thank you for your service. And this is William Albert Wright, 1899 to 1966. And this is James R. Knight, 1889 or 1887, sorry, to 1963. Lily W. Knight, 1888 to 1970. And this is Debbie A. Kennington. I went to school with a girl whose name was Kennington. But 1957 to 1988. And Tommy hasn't passed away yet. And this is W. Ferris Kennington, 1918 to 1982. Naomi W. Kennington, 1919 to 2003. And he was in the military. He was a private in the U.S. Army in World War II. Thank you for your service. And this is Ferris Bundy, 1911 to 1971. May Bell Bundy, 1921 and 1987. Here's William J. Mills, 1927 and 1997. Ruth Mills, 1930 to 2001. And also, he was in the military. He was a private U.S. Army. He was in Korea. Thank you for your service. And this is the family spot of Ellis. That's the name on the, and here's their headstones right here. He was in, Carl E. Ellis was a Tech 5, 1918 and 1968. He was in, we don't really say if he was in the, what war he was in, but he was 1943 to 1945. So I'm guessing World War II. So thank you for your service. This is Stephen Mark Ellis. Ernie Kennington, 1963 to 2020. Geneva Fail Ellis, Watts, 1921 to 1995. Thank you for your service. And this is Bethel Knight Sinclair, 1914 to 1977. Atlas Boyce Sinclair, 1892 to 1968. And this is the Reverend James Sinclair, 1882 to 1948. And this is Minnie A. Sinclair, 1880 to 1946. This is Julie Ann Lee, 1934 to 1941. She was young. Oh, I forgot this one, I think. Right here. Carrie M. Blanton, 1899 to 1952. Lonnie R. Blanton, 1935 to 1953. Here's Thomas Horn, 1877 to 1960. Molly C. Horn, 1889 to 1970. And here's Michael Thomas Henson, in Love and Memory, 1945 to 1986. It's got a headstone that he was in the military, but I don't see any markings. And this is Robert E. Allen. He was a Earnhardt fan. You see Earnhardt's car on there. But he was 1951 to 2021. This is David Eugene Allen, 1949 to 1989. Looks like I got a little friend that showed up. A little dog just showed up here in the graveyard. Hey, buddy. Friendly little dog. And this is Sylvia Jeanette Smith, 1956 to 2012. And I like the angel. That's beautiful with the angel holding the tulips. And there's one right here, but I don't have anything on it. Jesse W. Doster, 1961 to 2011. Martha M. Doster, 1938 to 2009. And James C. Doster hadn't passed away, or they hadn't made his, they hadn't wrote on his tombstone yet. I like to love it. I've always liked this with the praying hands in the middle. And this is the headstone of Carson Bug Griffin, 1932 to 1990. Jane M. Griffin, 1936 to 1997. And he was in the military. He was Air Force. He was in Korea. Thank you for your service. And this lady right here is young too. Frances Mills Griffin, 1966 to 2020. Or 2002. I'm sorry. I had a fly getting around me. Messed me up. Here's Beulah H. McManus, 1921 to 2005. William Roy McManus, 1923 to 1998. And he was also military. He was PFC, U.S. Army, World War II. Thank you for your service. And here is Amy W. Neal, 1922 to 1979. James A. Neal, 1918 to 1998. And they were married on April 8th, 1938. And he was in the military. He was in U.S. Army, World War II. Thank you for your service. Now this is a unique headstone, or it's just worn. This is Watts, Lizzie Henson Watts, wife of J.C. Watts, 1899 to 1937. Here's Coley, M-O-M-O, Matthews, I'm sorry, 1917 to 2001. And here's Henry Banks Sr., U.S. Army, Air Force, 1937 to 1985. Thank you for your service. Now, I can't read anything on this one, but I'm thinking it's military because there's a flag beside of it. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see it. Here's a sergeant. It's the only thing I can see. Thank you for your service. And here's Jane Knight, 1811 to 1895. And I think that's the oldest one I found out here so far. And Bennett, J.M., 1860 to 1872. I think these are babies. I can't even read this one. And here's Barbara Ann, the wife of John McManus, 27 years old. So I think 1860. I think 1860. It's the only thing I can see. And here is PFC Ralph Carnes, born 1921, killed in France in 1944. Oh man, thank you for your service. He was in HOCO 115 Tank Brigade, 3rd Division, Army. And this is Lemuel Carnes, 1889 to 1943. Coy, son of L.A. L.M. Carnes, 1909 to 1940. It's Lily, the wife of L.A. Carnes, 1880 to 1925. And this is Rena Hancock, 1867 to 1928. Minnie, the wife of J.W. Knight, 1893 to 1938. And this is J.W. Knight, 1891 to 1941. This is Tom Wright, 1927 and 1922 to 1997. And there's a bunch of babies right here. I can't really tell. And I've come to realize these are woodmen's of the world. These headstones like this is woodmen's of the world. Fred Wright, 1895 to 1923. this is Sally Wright, 1899 to 1924. And there's another baby. Can't tell what's on it. And Molly, wife of C.E. Wright, 1896 and 1928. And this is C.E. Wright, 1890 to 1973. Oh, he was in World War I. He was a private. Thank you for your service. And this is Norman Wright, Air Force, Korea, 1934 to 2017. He was a loving husband, father, grandfather, great-grandfather. Thank you for your service. And this is his wife, Evelyn Wright, 1935 and 1989. And this is the headstone of James Watts, 1933 to 1994. His wife, Mary Watts, 1934 to 2022. And this is Kathy Roberts, 1952 to 2012. Laura Ann Blackman, 1969 to 2015. And this is the Reverend Timothy R. Snipes, 1966 to 2016. Thank you for your service. And Wendy B. Wright, or Wendy B. Snipes, I'm sorry. She hasn't passed away yet. And this is the headstone of John W. Whitaker, 1940 to 1981. Patricia Whitaker, 1941 to 2008. And they were married in September the 20th, 1962. And this is the headstone of Lee Robert Snipes. He was in the U.S. Navy, World War II, 1923 to 1972. Thank you for your service. Dixie B. Snipes, U.S. Army Air Corps, World War II, 1922 to 1997. Thank you for your service. This is Johnny Nelson Whitaker, 1962 to 2020. Rocky Nelson Whitaker Schaefer, 2020. It's got a picture of him. He's a little baby. Beautiful little baby. And here's Brooker Nail Laswell, E03, U.S. Navy, 1955, 2021. Thank you for your service. Here's Mr. J.C. Watts, 1938 to 1971. Mary S. Watts hasn't passed away, or they haven't put her name, her date on there yet. And here is Lynn Watts Morris. She hasn't passed away yet, or they hadn't put her name or a date on her. William Tracy Morris, 1971 to 2017. Here's Ronnie E. Watts, PNSA, U.S. Navy, 1955 to 2013. Thank you for your service. Here's Ebert V. Cooper, 1917 to 1990. Mary W. Cooper, 1920, 1996. And I guess this is their kid of theirs, David F. Hooton, 1970 to 1972. Here's Janice A. Walker, 1943 to 2014. Jesse Faye Allen, 1950 to 2012. Lorraine W. Presley, 1926 to 1999. And this one right here must have been really recent, because there's no headstone, there's nothing. Oh, yes, they are. Caleb Taylor, 2001 to 2021. Burgess Funeral Home. Oh, he was so young. He was loved to play golf. And here's Dennis Wright, BTI U.S. Navy, Vietnam, 1955 to 2019. Thank you for your service. Here's James Harvey Wright, U.S. Army, Korea, 1936 to 1984. Thank you for your service. Here's Ernest Wright, 1891 to 1967. He was F3 U.S. Navy, World War I. Thank you for your service. And here's John Edward Wright, U.S. Army, World War II, 1924 to 2002. Thank you for your service. And here's Jose Howard Plyler, Private, 493 Field Artillery, World War II, 1909 to 1966. Thank you for your service. And here's Audrey Whitaker Plyler. She was the wife of Howard, 1929 and 1979. Thank you for your service. Here's Thomas Roland Greer, U.S. Navy, CN U.S. Navy, 1944 to 2022. Thank you for your service. Here's Bobby J. Stacks, SP4, U.S. Navy, U.S. Army, Vietnam, 1948 to 1997. Thank you for your service. William Calvin McManus, Corporal, U.S. Army, World War II, 1926 to 2000. Thank you for your service. D.B. Snipes, U.S. Navy, World War II, 1926 and 1971. And thank you for your service. Here's Lee Snipes, South Carolina Private Artillery, F-60 Artillery, World War I, 1897 to 1971. Thank you for your service. Rebecca Belk Snipes, 1895 to 1979. And thank you for your service. Here's Billy Snipes, 1897 to 1902. James Snipes, 1841 to 1903. Eliza McManus Snipes, 1852 to 1904. And I think that's going to do it for this one. We walked around Oak Hill Baptist Church Cemetery here in Tradesville. Well, it's called Tradesville, It's also Lancaster, South Carolina. But we walked around, found a lot of military, and a little friend right here. A little dog come running out here to the cemetery. I thought it was funny. But that's it for this one. Be safe. God bless. If you like these kind of videos, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel, hit your bell when it notify you when I upload videos just like this one. And if you want to donate to the channel, I left my PayPal and my Cash App in the description of this video and the description of the channel. So, with all that said, remember to let go and let God. Until next time, my friends. Bye. We'll see you.